The morning started like any other day at the Galactic Federation Academy on Luna Base. The Earth hung in the sky, blue and beautiful against the blackness of space. Cadet Jack Miller ran through the obstacle course, his breath coming in short bursts. The artificial gravity was set to match Earth's pull, which made the alien cadet struggle but felt just right to him. Jack jumped over a barrier and dodged a swinging pendulum. His muscles tensed as he leaped across a pit. Most alien species found this course impossible. They called humans Deathworlders because Earth's high gravity and harsh conditions made humans naturally stronger and faster than most galactic citizens. Jack reached the end of the course and checked his time. He had broken his own record again. He smiled and wiped sweat from his forehead. A group of Zelaxian cadets watched him with their 4 eyes wide in surprise. Their thin bodies and fragile limbs were not made for such physical tests. "How do you move so fast?" asked one Zelaxian, its voice like a whistle through its breathing tubes. Jack shrugged. Just born this way, I guess. The peaceful moment ended when loud sirens began to wail across the base. Red lights flashed along the walls. Jack's heart raced. This was not a drill. "All cadets report to the command center immediately," said AE. Voice over the speakers, Jack ran toward the main building. He met his squad mates along the way. Sophia Wilson jogged up beside him, her dark hair pulled back in a tight bun. Lucas Brown and Ella Davis joined them from the science labs. "What's happening?" asked Ella, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "No idea," said Jack, "but it must be serious." The 4 human cadets reached the command center where aliens of various species gathered in worried groups. Admiral Zekatal stood at the front of the room. The 6-limbed Arcturian looked more serious than usual, the patterns on his blue skin pulsing with worry. "Attention," said the Admiral, his voice deep and rumbling. "We have received word that a Vraxian scout fleet has bypassed our outer defenses. They are currently approaching Earth's solar system." Gasps filled the room. The Vraxians were a dangerous species that had been expanding their territory for years. They looked like giant insects with hard shells and multiple limbs. They thought as one mind and fought as one body. "The main invasion force is only 1 hour behind the scouts," continued the Admiral. "All senior officers and ships have been deployed to the Orion conflict. We are the only defense remaining at Luna Base." Jack looked at his friends. They all knew what this meant. Earth was in danger, and there was no one to protect it except them. "We need volunteers to intercept the scout fleet," said the Admiral. "It is a dangerous mission with little chance of success." Jack stepped forward without hesitation. "I volunteer, sir." Sophia, Lucas, and Ella moved to stand beside him. "We all do," said Sophia. The Admiral's skin patterns flickered with surprise. "You understand the risk? Our computers calculate a 0.03% chance of success." Jack smiled. "That's all we need." The alien instructors looked at each other with concern. One of them, Professor Vril, a thin Mindoran with pale green skin, spoke up. "Admiral, sending these cadets would be a waste. They have not completed their training. They will certainly fail." "With respect, Professor," said Lucas, "humans have a history of beating the odds, and we're the only ones who can handle the modified ships," added Ella. The Admiral studied them for a long moment. "Very well. Report to Briefing Room 3 for mission details." As they walked to the briefing room, Jack felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Earth's fate might depend on what they did in the next hour. In the briefing room, holograms showed the approaching Vraxian fleet. 12 scout ships moved in perfect formation toward Earth. Sophia studied the display. "They move in sync. Their attacks are always coordinated. That's because they share a hive mind," said Lucas, adjusting his glasses. "They think as one." Ella tapped on a control panel, bringing up data on Vraxian communication systems. "They use a special frequency to maintain their connection. If we could disrupt that, we could break their coordination," finished Jack. "That's brilliant, Ella." Sophia stepped closer to the hologram. "They're expecting us to follow Galactic Federation protocols. Standard formations, standard responses. But what if we don't?" "What do you mean?" asked Lucas. "I mean, let's show them chaos instead of order," said Sophia, her eyes bright with excitement. "Let's show them how humans fight." Lucas nodded slowly, then moved to another screen showing the Academy's training vessels. We could modify the ships, remove safety limits, overcharge the weapons, reduce life support to minimal levels. That would kill most species, said Ella. But not us, said Jack. We're Deathworlders, remember? We can handle it. The alien instructors watched from the doorway, their expressions showing a mixture of horror and fascination. What they're suggesting is suicide, whispered Professor Vril to a colleague. To them, perhaps, replied the other alien. But these humans, they are different. The 4 cadets worked quickly, developing a plan that broke every rule in the Galactic Federation handbook. Sophia suggested attack patterns that seemed random, but had hidden purpose. Lucas designed ship modifications that pushed the limits of what was possible. Ella found a way to disrupt the Vraxian communication frequency using Earth music. Jack brought it all together, assigning roles and making sure everyone understood what they needed to do. We launch in 10 minutes, he said, checking the time. The scout fleet will reach the outer markers in 30 minutes. We need to stop them before the main invasion force arrives. The cadets headed to the hangar bay where technicians prepared their ships according to Lucas's specifications. The small, sleek vessels looked different now, with extra power cells attached and weapon systems glowing hot with excess energy. Professor Vril approached them as they prepared to board. Cadets, I must advise against this mission one last time. The changes you've made to these ships are dangerous. The physical strain alone could kill you. Jack put on his flight helmet. Thank you for your concern, Professor. But Earth is our home. We'll do whatever it takes to protect it. 4 cadets climbed into their ships. The hangar doors opened, revealing the vastness of space and, somewhere out there, an enemy coming to destroy everything they loved. Ready? Jack asked over the comm system. Ready, his friends replied. The ships roared to life, pushing the human cadets back into their seats with a force that would have knocked an alien unconscious. But these were humans, Deathworlders, built to endure. They shot out of the hangar and into space. 4 small ships against an invasion fleet, with just 1 hour to save their world. The 4 ships zoomed away from Luna Base, engines burning bright against the darkness of space. Inside his cockpit, Jack checked his systems. The modified ship vibrated under his hands. It felt alive, dangerous, like a wild animal barely under control. Everyone okay? He asked over the comm. All good, said Sophia. Her voice was calm despite the danger they faced. My engine is running hot, said Lucas, but that's how I designed it. We're getting twice the normal speed. I'm ready with the disruption signal, added Ella. The music is loaded and ready to broadcast. Jack looked at his navigation screen. The Vraxian scout fleet was visible now, 12 ships moving in perfect formation. They looked like giant metal insects with pointed fronts and wing-like structures on the sides. Jack had studied Vraxians at the Academy. They were a hive-minded species that thought and moved as one. They had never fought humans before. Remember, the plan, said Jack. We don't fight like the rest of the Galactic Federation, we fight like humans. Back at Luna Base, the alien instructors watched through the long-range scanners. Professor Vril shook his head in disbelief. They're going to attack a Vraxian fleet with just 4 ships, he said. It's madness. Admiral Zektal stood with his 6 arms crossed over his chest. Perhaps, but I have learned not to underestimate humans. They are unpredictable. In space, Jack gave the signal. Sophia, you're up first. Sophia's ship changed course suddenly, diving toward the sun. The bright light would hide her approach from the Vraxian sensors. It was a dangerous move. If she got too close, her ship would burn up. But Sophia was confident in her skills. Lucas, your turn, said Jack. Lucas pushed a series of buttons in his cockpit. Warning lights flashed red as he disabled the safety protocols. His ship surged forward with incredible speed. The G-forces pressed him hard into his seat. Any alien species would have passed out or died from such pressure. But Lucas was human, a Deathworlder. His body, evolved on Earth's heavy gravity, could take more punishment than most galactic citizens. Ella, Now, Jack ordered. Ella activated her disruption signal. The sound of Earth heavy metal music blasted across all Vraxian communication frequencies. The fast drums and screaming guitars were nothing like the ordered mathematical music of most alien species. To the hive-minded Vraxians, it would sound like chaos. Jack watched as the Vraxian formation began to waver. Their perfect pattern broke apart as they struggled to maintain their connection. "It's working," he said. "My turn." Jack pushed his controls forward. His ship raced directly toward the lead Vraxian vessel. It looked like a suicide run. From Luna Base, the alien instructors gasped. "What is he doing?" asked Professor Vril, his green skin turning pale. "I do not know," admitted the Admiral, "but I think we are about to see why humans are classified as Deathworlders." In his ship, Jack felt his heart race with excitement. This was what humans were good at, taking risks, doing the unexpected. The Vraxian ship grew larger in his view screen. At the last possible moment, Jack pulled up on his controls. His ship responded instantly, changing direction with a force that made his vision blur. He skimmed over the surface of the Vraxian, Scout so close he could see the details of its metal hull. As he passed, Jack pressed a button. A small magnetic device detached from his ship and stuck to the Vraxian vessel. "Mine attached," he reported. "Clear the area." The 4 human ships scattered in different directions. Moments later, the magnetic mine exploded. The Vraxian ship spun out of control, its hull damaged. Sophia emerged from the sun's glare, her ship's weapon systems charged beyond safe levels. She fired at 3 Vraxian scouts simultaneously. The powerful blasts tore through their propulsion systems. 3 more disabled, she reported. Lucas zoomed between 2 Vraxian ships, moving so fast and erratically that their targeting systems couldn't lock on. The Vraxians fired and missed, hitting each other instead. "That's 2 more down," said Lucas with a laugh. "They're shooting themselves." Ella's disruption signal continued to blast across the Vraxian communication network. The remaining scouts moved in confused patterns, unable to coordinate their attacks. "Their hive mind is breaking down," said Ella. "They can't think as one anymore." The battle was chaotic, nothing like the ordered engagements the Galactic Federation taught at the Academy. The human cadets moved their ships in ways no simulator had ever predicted, taking risks no alien would consider reasonable. At Luna Base, the instructors watched in amazement. "I have never seen combat like this," said one of them. "It defies all tactical logic." "And yet it works," said Admiral Zakatal. "This is why humans are both feared and valued in the Federation." After 20 minutes of intense fighting, the Vraxian scout fleet was defeated. Some ships were destroyed, others disabled and drifting in space. The 4 human cadets regrouped, their ships damaged but still functioning. "We did it," said Sophia, her voice tired but triumphant. "Not yet," said Jack. "The main invasion force is still coming. We have about 30 minutes before they arrive." "What can we do?" asked Lucas. "Even with our modified ships, we can't fight an entire invasion fleet." "We won't fight them," said Jack. "We'll trick them." Ella understood immediately. "You want to use the captured scouts to send false information." "Exactly," said Jack. "Can you do it?" Ella smiled. "Of course I can. I'll need access to their communication systems." "I'll help you board one of the disabled scouts," said Jack. "Sophia, Lucas, gather the wrecked ships. Position them to make it look like there was a much bigger battle." The cadets moved quickly. Jack and Ella carefully approached one of the disabled Vraxian scouts. They docked their ship and cut through the hull. Inside, they found the insect-like Vraxians unconscious from the battle. The ship's interior was strange, designed for bodies, with more limbs and different needs than humans. Ella found the communication system and began to work. "I can send a false distress signal to the main fleet," she said. "I'll tell them that Earth is defended by a massive armada, and that humans are far more dangerous than their intelligence suggested." While Ella worked, Lucas rigged the damaged Vraxian ships with explosives. "When these go off together, it will look like a much larger battle took place here," he explained. Sophia positioned the wrecked scouts in a pattern that suggested they had fought against many more ships than just 4. With 10 minutes left before the main Vraxian force would arrive, the cadets returned to their ships. "Distress signal is broadcasting," reported Ella. "The Vraxians will receive it just as they enter the system." "Explosives are set," added Lucas. "They'll detonate in sequence when the fleet arrives." Jack nodded. "Good work, everyone. Now we—" "Wait." The 4 ships retreated to a safe distance and powered down to avoid detection. The minutes ticked by slowly. Jack felt sweat on his forehead despite the ship's cooling systems. This was their last chance. If the deception failed, Earth would face a full invasion. The silent wait was hard for the 4 human cadets. Jack checked his ship systems again to keep his mind busy. His fingers tapped nervously on the control panel. The plan had to work. There was no other option. 5 minutes until the main Vraxian fleet arrives, said Sophia, her voice quiet over the comm. Lucas adjusted his position slightly, keeping his ship hidden behind a large piece of space debris. "Do you think they'll believe our trick?" "They have to," said Ella. "The false distress signal is perfect. I copied the exact way Vraxians communicate." Jack looked out at the scattered remains of the scout fleet. From a distance, it did look like the aftermath of a much larger battle. Lucas had done a good job positioning the wrecked ships. "Everyone stay quiet when they arrive," said Jack. "No communication, minimal power. We can't let them detect us." On Luna Base, Admiral Zikatal and the alien instructors watched their long-range scanners. The main Vraxian invasion force was approaching fast. 50 large warships in tight formation, each one carrying thousands of soldiers. "The cadets have no chance against that fleet," said Professor Vril. "We should evacuate the base while we can." "Wait," said the Admiral. "Let us see what these humans have planned." In space, Jack saw the first signs of the Vraxian fleet. They appeared as small dots on his scanner at first, then grew larger quickly. The invasion force was massive, much bigger than he had expected. Jack felt a moment of doubt. Could their simple trick really work against such a powerful enemy? The Vraxian ships slowed as they approached the scattered remains of their scout fleet. Just as they came into range, Lucas's explosives detonated in sequence. Bright flashes lit up space, making it look like a battle was still in progress. At the same time, Ella's false distress signal began broadcasting from the captured scout ship. The message warned of a large human defense force with advanced weapons and unpredictable tactics. It described humans as dangerous Deathworlders who could withstand conditions that would kill Vraxians instantly. "The Earth defenses are too strong," said the fake message in the Vraxian language. "Humans do not fight like other species. They are chaos beings. They broke our hive-mind connection. Retreat immediately. This planet is too dangerous to invade." The main Vraxian fleet stopped moving. The ships held position, receiving the distress signal and observing the destruction of their scout fleet. "They're hesitating," whispered Sophia. "It's working." The 4 cadets watched anxiously as minutes passed. The Vraxian fleet remained motionless, as if unsure what to do. Jack held his breath. This was the crucial moment. Finally, the Vraxian ships began to move. They turned slowly, changing their formation. Instead of spreading out for an attack, they grouped closer together in a defensive pattern. "Look," said Lucas excitedly. "They're turning around." The Vraxian invasion fleet accelerated away from Earth, retreating back the way they had come. A moment later, they disappeared into hyperspace, leaving only the destroyed scout ships behind. Jack couldn't believe his eyes. "They're gone. They actually left." The 4 cadets stayed silent for a moment, letting the reality sink in. Then Ella let out a cheer that echoed through the comm system. The others joined in, their voices filled with relief and triumph. "We did it," shouted Lucas. "We actually stopped an invasion fleet." "With just 4 training ships," added Sophia, laughing in disbelief. Jack felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Their crazy plan had worked. Earth was safe. "Luna Base to Cadet Miller," came Admiral Zakatal's voice over the comm. "Report your status." "Mission accomplished, Admiral," replied Jack, unable to keep the pride from his voice. "The Vraxian invasion force has retreated. They fell for our deception." There was a pause before the Admiral spoke again. "Extraordinary. Return to base immediately. The 4 ships turned and headed back to Luna Base. As they approached, Jack could see a crowd gathering in the observation dome. Word of their success had spread quickly. The ships landed in the hangar bay, their engines cooling with soft hisses. Jack climbed out of his cockpit, his legs a bit shaky after the intense mission. Sophia, Lucas, and Ella joined him on the hangar floor. They looked at each other and broke into wide smiles. Admiral Zekatal entered the hangar, followed by a group of stunned instructors. The Admiral's skin patterns were pulsing with bright colors, a sign of strong emotion among his species. "Cadets," he said, his deep voice echoing in the large space. "You have accomplished something that defies all statistical probability. You stopped an invasion force with just 4 ships and clever deception." Professor Vril stepped forward. The thin alien looked at the human cadets with new respect in his 4 eyes. "I must admit, I did not believe your plan would work. I was wrong. Your human approach to problem solving is unlike anything in our tactical databases." Jack stood, a bit straighter. "Thank you, Professor. Sometimes the best solution isn't the most logical one." The Admiral nodded. "A lesson for all of us at the Academy, I think. Your actions today have saved countless lives." Other cadets began to enter the hangar, aliens of various species coming to see the humans who had stopped the Vraxian invasion. They looked at Jack and his friends with a mixture of awe and confusion. A small Xylaxian cadet approached Jack. It was the same one who had watched him on the obstacle course earlier that day. "How did you know your plan would work?" it asked. Jack smiled. "We didn't. We just knew we had to try." The Xylaxian's breathing tubes vibrated in what Jack had learned was a sign of deep thought. "Is this how humans always approach problems? By doing things that seem impossible?" "Pretty much," said Lucas with a grin. "It's kind of our specialty." Admiral Zakatal raised all 6 of his hands for silence. The hangar grew quiet as everyone turned to listen. Today, these human cadets have demonstrated why Earth joined the Galactic Federation. Their unique perspective and abilities are valuable assets to us all. The Admiral's skin glowed with bright patterns. "Let this be a lesson in the importance of diversity in our ranks. What seems illogical to one species may be brilliant to another." Jack felt pride swell in his chest, not just for himself and his friends, but for all humans. They had shown the Galactic Federation why Deathworlders deserved respect. Later, in the Academy Lounge, the 4 cadets sat together, still processing their amazing adventure. "Do you realize what we did?" asked Ella. "We stopped a galactic invasion in just 1 hour. With 4 training ships and a lot of human chaos," added Sophia. "I bet they'll teach this at the Academy for years," said Lucas. Jack nodded, looking out the window at Earth hanging beautiful and safe in the darkness. "And maybe next time no one will underestimate humans quite so much." News of the 4 human cadets' success spread quickly through the Galactic Federation. 2 days after stopping the Vraxian invasion, Jack, Sophia, Lucas, and Ella found themselves called to a special meeting of the Federation Council. They traveled from Luna Base to the massive Federation station that orbited Mars. The station was huge, a spinning wheel of metal and glass that housed representatives from over 200 alien species. Jack had never been there before. He stared in wonder at the many different aliens walking through the wide halls. Some floated in special tanks filled with liquid. Others moved on many legs or glided along on cushions of air. "I never thought we'd actually come here," said Lucas, looking up at the high ceiling. Sophia nodded. "Most cadets never see the council station until after graduation." A tall, blue-skinned Arcturian official approached them. "The council is ready for you," he said, leading them toward a large set of doors. The council chamber was a vast round room with rising tiers of seats. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled those seats, their voices creating a low hum of conversation that stopped when the human cadets entered. At the center of the room was a circular platform where Admiral Zekatal waited for them. "Cadets," he said with a formal nod, "the council wishes to hear directly from you about the events at Luna Base." Jack swallowed nervously. He hadn't expected to speak to the entire council. He glanced at his friends, who looked equally surprised. The head of the council, a tall being made of what looked like living crystal, spoke in a voice that chimed like bells. Please tell us in your own words how 4 cadets managed to stop a Vraxian invasion force. Jack stepped forward. In simple words, he explained their plan and how they had carried it out. He described their modified ships, Sophia's sun glare, approach, Lucas's dangerous engine modifications, Ella's disruptive music broadcast, and their final deception that convinced the Vraxians to retreat. When he finished, the council chamber was silent. Then the crystal being spoke again. In 300 years of Galactic Federation history, we have never seen such an unconventional approach to warfare. The Vraxians have invaded 12 worlds in the past decade. None could stop them. Yet 4 untrained humans did what entire fleets could not. A small, round alien with multiple eyes floated forward on its hover platform. But they broke every rule of engagement in the Federation handbook. Their tactics were completely outside standard protocols. Admiral Zikatal nodded. Yes, Counselor. That is precisely why they succeeded. The Vraxians know our standard protocols. They were not prepared for human unpredictability. A low murmur ran through the council. Jack could sense both approval and concern in the alien voices. The crystal being raised a glittering hand for silence. These events raise important questions about our military doctrine. Perhaps we have become too predictable, too dependent on established patterns. Ella stepped forward. If I may speak, Counselor. When the crystal being nodded, she continued. Humans don't always follow the direct path. We look for shortcuts, unexpected solutions. It's how we survived on Earth. Our planet tried to kill us many times, so we learned to adapt quickly and think creatively. Lucas added, what looks like chaos to others often has a purpose for us. We break rules when we need to, especially when following the rules would lead to failure. Sophia spoke next. The Vraxians expected Federation ships to follow Federation protocols. That's why they were winning. We gave them something they couldn't predict. The council members talked among themselves. Some seemed impressed, others worried. Jack understood their concern. Unpredictable allies could be as troubling as unpredictable enemies. The crystal being silenced the room again. Cadets, your actions saved Earth and possibly many other worlds. The Vraxians have withdrawn all their forces to their home system. Our intelligence suggests they are reconsidering their expansion plans, especially into areas with human populations. Jack felt a surge of pride. Their small victory had led to a much larger one. The Council has decided, continued the crystal being, to create a new training program at the Academy. It will be called the Deathworlder Initiative. Human instructors will teach their unique approach to problem-solving to selected cadets from other species. You 4 will be the first graduates when you complete your training. Cheers erupted from some council members while others remained silent. Jack and his friends exchanged surprised looks. They hadn't expected such an honor. Admiral Zekatal led them from the council chamber after the announcement. In a smaller room, he turned to face them. You should know that not everyone is pleased with this decision, he said, his skin patterns showing concern. Some council members fear that spreading human tactics may lead to unpredictable behavior throughout the Federation fleet. Is that bad? Asked Lucas. It worked against the Vraxians. The Admiral made a gesture that Jack had come to recognize as a smile. Change is always difficult for established powers, but I believe this change is necessary. The galaxy is full of threats that cannot be defeated with rulebooks and protocols. 1 week later, the 4 cadets were back at Luna Base, but everything felt different. Their fellow students looked at them with new respect. Even the alien cadets who had once avoided the dangerous Deathworlders now sought them out, asking questions about Earth and human thinking. Jack walked through the hallway toward his new quarters. As a recognized graduate, he had been given a private room instead of the shared cadet dormitory. Jack, wait up, called Sophia, jogging to catch up with him. Lucas and Ella were with her. Have you seen our new assignment? Asked Ella, holding up a datapad. Jack took it and read the screen. His eyes widened. They're giving us a ship? A real Federation ship? Lucas nodded excitedly. The FSS Intrepid. It's small, but it's fast. And they're letting us modify it. There's more, said Sophia. Read the mission details. Jack scrolled down and whistled softly. Patrol duty along the Vraxian border. They want us to be visible, to remind the Vraxians that humans are watching. Ella smiled. They're using our reputation as a deterrent. The four friends walked together toward the observation dome. Through the clear ceiling, they could see Earth blue and peaceful in the blackness of space. They had saved it once. Now they would help protect the rest of the galaxy. Not bad for 4 cadets who were just taking an obstacle course a week ago, said Jack. From cadets to legends in 1 hour, added Lucas with a laugh. The first human graduates of the academy, said Sophia proudly. Ella looked thoughtfully at the stars beyond Earth. And definitely not the last. I have a feeling the galaxy is going to see a lot more humans soon, Jack nodded. The Galactic Federation was changing and humans were helping to change it. Their Deathworld origins, once seen as a disadvantage, had proven to be their greatest strength. Sometimes the harshest beginnings created the strongest survivors. Come on, he said to his friends. We have a ship to modify and a galaxy to protect. 6 months had passed since the day 4 human cadets stopped a Vraxian invasion in just 1 hour. The FSS Intrepid sailed smoothly through space, its engines humming with power. The ship was small by Federation standards, but Jack and his crew had made many special changes to it. No other ship in the fleet was quite like it. Jack sat in the captain's chair on the bridge. It still felt strange to be called Captain Miller. Around him, his friends worked at their stations. Sophia handled navigation, her fingers dancing over the controls as she plotted their course. Lucas monitored the engines, which he had modified to run faster than the designers ever intended. Ella managed communications, keeping track of signals from across the sector. Status report, said Jack, trying to sound official. All systems normal, replied Lucas. Engines running at 120% capacity, just how I like them. Course is stable, added Sophia. We'll reach the Vraxian border in 20 minutes. Ella turned from her station. No unusual communications in the area. The Vraxians have been quiet lately. Jack nodded, pleased with the report. Their patrol of the border had been peaceful so far. The Vraxians had not attempted any new invasions since their retreat from Earth. The story of how 4 human cadets had stopped their fleet had spread throughout the galaxy. Some said the Vraxians were now afraid of humans. Others believed they were simply planning more carefully for their next move. Captain, said Ella suddenly, I'm picking up a distress signal. It's coming from a small colony on Paxos 4. Jack sat up straighter. Put it through. A crackling voice filled the bridge. This is Paxos mining colony. We are under attack by unknown forces. They came out of nowhere. Our defenses are failing. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help. Paxos 4? Asked Jack. That's near the Vraxian border, isn't it? Sophia checked her star charts. Yes, it's a small mining colony. Mostly Zelaxians with some Mindoran workers. It's about 30 minutes from our position at top speed. Change course, ordered Jack. Maximum speed to Paxos 4. Lucas grinned as he pushed the engines harder. Time to see what this ship can really do. The Intrepid turned sharply and accelerated. The stars outside the view screen blurred as the ship pushed beyond its official speed limits. Try to contact the colony again, Jack told Ella. Let them know we're coming. Ella sent several messages but shook her head. No response. The signal has gone dead. Jack felt worry grow in his stomach. Sophia, what do we know about Paxos 4? Small colony, about 300 people. They mine rare minerals used in starship construction. Not much in the way of defenses. They're supposed to be under Federation protection. Which means us, said Jack. We're the closest ship. The Intrepid raced toward Paxos 4. As they approached, the small planet, Lucas called out from his station. I'm detecting several ships in orbit. Design unknown. Not Federation and not Vraxian. Put them on screen, said Jack. The view screen showed 5 strange ships hovering over the planet. They were sleek and dark, with no visible markings or lights. They didn't match any known designs in the Federation database. "What are they?" asked Sophia. "I don't know," said Jack. "But they're attacking a Federation colony, and that means they're hostile." Battle stations. The crew quickly prepared for combat. Though they were outnumbered, the Intrepid had surprises of its own. "Remember how we beat the Vraxians," said Jack. "We don't fight like everyone else. We fight like humans." The unknown ships noticed the Intrepid's approach. 2 of them broke off from the planet and moved to intercept. "They're fast," noted Sophia as she tracked their movement. "So are we," replied Jack. "Lucas, activate the special maneuvering system." Lucas flipped a series of switches. The ship hummed as hidden thrusters came online, ones that Lucas had added himself against Federation regulations. "Ella, scan their communications. See if you can figure out who they are." Ella worked quickly at her station. "They're using an encrypted channel, but the pattern seems familiar somehow. I just can't place it." The enemy ships fired first. Beams of energy shot toward the Intrepid. Sophia reacted instantly, using the special thrusters to make the ship dance aside. The beams missed by a narrow margin. "Return fire," ordered Jack. "Target their propulsion systems." The Intrepid fired back. Its weapons had been upgraded as well, another of Lucas's modifications. The enemy seemed surprised by the power of the blast. One ship took a direct hit and spun away, damaged. "Good shot," said Lucas. The second ship tried to circle behind them, but Sophia was too quick. She rolled the Intrepid in a maneuver that would have made most Federation pilots sick. The enemy's shots went wide again. "Captain," said Ella urgently, "I've broken part of their code. These aren't new enemies at all. They're Vraxians, but they've completely changed their ship design and communication systems." Jack frowned. "Why would they do that?" "To hide who they are," said Sophia. "They knew we'd recognize Vraxian ships instantly. So they built new ones and attacked a small colony instead of Earth," concluded Jack. "They're testing us, seeing how the Federation responds." The battle continued around the planet. The Intrepid moved in ways the enemy hadn't expected, just as they had during their first encounter with the Vraxians. Jack's crew worked together perfectly, anticipating each other's moves without needing to speak. After several minutes of intense fighting, 2 enemy ships had been disabled. The remaining 3 broke off their attack on the colony and gathered together. "They're retreating," said Sophia. "No," said Jack, watching their movement carefully. "They're regrouping. Get ready for their next attack." The 3 ships suddenly accelerated toward the Intrepid from different directions. It was a classic pincer movement designed to trap them. "Predictable," said Jack with a small smile. Sophia waited until the last second, then dived toward the planet. Sophia nodded, her hands steady on the controls. The enemy ships closed in from 3 sides. Just when it seemed they would hit the Intrepid, Sophia pushed the ship into a steep dive. The sudden move caught the enemy by surprise. 2 of their ships couldn't adjust in time and collided with each other in a bright explosion. The last ship tried to follow the Intrepid down, but Lucas had one more surprise ready. He activated a special pulse from the engines that created a wave of energy behind them. The pursuing ship flew right into it. Its systems failed and it drifted powerless in space. "Colony secured," announced Jack. "Ella, contact Paxos 4 and see if they need medical assistance. Also, send a message to Federation headquarters. Tell them what happened here and that we've captured a Vraxian ship for study." As his crew carried out their tasks, Jack looked at the disabled enemy vessel on the view screen. The Vraxians had tried a new approach, but they had still lost. They hadn't understood the real lesson from their defeat at Earth. It wasn't just about different ships or surprise attacks. It was about the human way of thinking, adaptive, creative, and impossible to predict. "You know what this means," said Sophia quietly. "The Vraxians haven't given up. They're just changing tactics." Jack nodded. "And we'll be ready for them, whatever they try next." The Intrepid settled into orbit around Paxos 4. The colony was safe for now. Jack knew this was just the beginning of a longer conflict, but he felt confident. Humans had earned their place in the Galactic Federation. Their Deathworld origins had prepared them for challenges that other species couldn't imagine. "Not bad for a day's work," said Lucas with a grin. "Just another hour in the life of former cadets," agreed Ella. Jack smiled as he looked at his friends and crew. Together, they had saved Earth, changed Federation tactics, and now rescued a colony. All because they weren't afraid to break the rules when necessary. "Set course for Luna Base when we're done here," he said. "I think it's time we shared some new ideas for the Deathworlder initiative."